I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield. On this stupid sprue trick, I'm going to show you guys how to create some Czech Hedgehogs. Now, you may not recognize the name Czech Hedgehog, but I'm sure you know what these things are if you see a picture of them. They're a type of tank trap designed to kind of impede the movement of tanks and, if possible, kind of disable their tracks, penetrate armor, things like that. But what they are is there are several pieces of steel that are welded or bolted together in such a way that there's always going to be a pointy side facing up. And conveniently, that's something we can make really easy with sprues. Now, I originally made something like this way back in the Cities of Death days, which it's kind of funny to call that way back. That was still midway through the lifespan of Warhammer 40,000, but at this point, it's been about 13 years, I think, since that came out, and I feel I probably showed something similar to this off on a very early episode of the Tabletop Battlefield, but that's not here on YouTube. So what we're going to be doing is building a bunch of things like this. I've got an empty sprue right here. I think this is from one of the Adeptus Titanicus builds. So you can find those videos on this YouTube channel, show notes down below. My first step, though, is I want to take this and cut 3 pieces of about equal length. Feel free to leave some of the little oddball bits on the particular sprue piece. Let me go ahead, I'm going to make a couple of these, so let me just cut out a few more sprues. Let's do like maybe manufacture 3 of these at a time. Now for this build process, I'm going to be using super glue. Even though these are plastic parts and you can use plastic glue, I'm just impatient and want things to dry faster. So take 2 out of each of the 3 and I'm going to glue them together in a bit of a X or cross shape. And now I can let those dry for a few minutes. And let's make things look a little bit gnarly, alright? So I'm going to take a little bit more super glue, and then I'm going to glue on just a couple little random pieces off the sprue onto these things and make them look like a little more haphazardly constructed. The glue is starting to dry. Now we're going to apply the cross pieces that support them up. So look for what you think is kind of the best pocket area along the 4 areas produced by the cross. Put some glue in there. Then take the cross beam, stick it in, and hold it for a while in a way that it supports the Czech Hedgehog and allows it to stand up by itself. If you find one of the pieces doesn't want to dry soon enough to hold itself up, feel free to use a clamp. It's a great little tool. Now, the time I'm recording this, it's early March, it's actually March 5th, which there's an abnormally super cold, what do you want to say? Cold snap, that's the right word. There's a really big, there's a really cold snap outside here in Michigan, I think across much of the country. So I'm not going outside to prime these things. Instead, what I'm going to do is use some acrylic paint and primer that I bought for a asteroids that I used to sell for Caladasia, and I'm going to paint these guys up with a layer of this first. So while the paint and primer is mostly dry at this point, I'm going to start applying some layers of Lead Belcher from Games Workshop's Citadel line of paints. This is kind of a darkish silver color. Now, steel, like a lot of types of high carbon steel, is often a very dark color. It's not really shiny unless something's kind of done some pretty nasty damage to it. Snowfire, 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 Phantom 2, etc. So what I'm going to do is take some of the Citadel Shade Nun Oil Gloss and kind of coat these miniatures in this dark shade. I called these things miniatures, didn't I? Called these little pieces of sprues that are glued together in a dark shade. How's that sound? They're not miniatures. For the last and final step, I am going to be taking some leather brown from, this is the Army Painters War Paint series. And I'm going to be dry brushing some of that on a few areas of these Czech Hedgehogs and give the idea that they've been sitting out in the rain and they're starting to rust a little bit. Or they look more like mud, to be honest with you, which is also entirely possible. For one final coat, I think I might have said a final coat a moment ago, but I do that. I'm taking some Serapin Sophia wash, and let's go over the areas that I kind of made look like mud / rust, and this will hopefully sell the effect that they're actually rust a little bit better. This is the end of a stupid sprue trick, which allows you to create some pretty nice looking scattered terrain fairly easily out of something, well, you already had but didn't really want any more anyway. So once again, I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield. To find more videos, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel and get the latest episodes when they come out of things like stupid sprue tricks. I guess we'll start calling them that because it's kind of the first video in the series. 3D printing stuff and Blender for tabletop gaming. Of course, building microflash. I had the weapon I showed off a minute ago during the build. I don't know where I put it. Well, that's the old weapon that got chewed up last time in Motor City Massacre 2. We'll see how the new one does. It's AR-500 steel. By the time this video airs, I'll probably know what happened, but at the moment I'm recording it, I don't have the weapon in my hand yet. It's being water jet cut and all that fun stuff. But you can find those build videos for robotic stuff on this YouTube channel as well. So thank you guys all for watching, and have a good night, good morning, good evening, good something or another freezing first week in March as well. Thank you guys for watching.